Alright guys, welcome to another edition of Star Run Aquariums. So right now, I have my Hannah checker, and it was at 10. As you've seen it disappear, converted to ppb, so ppm, that's about 31 ppm, so that's still pretty high. So the problems I've been having with my phosphates is over time, using faucet water at one time, not having checkers to check, feeding heavily, never really changing the water. My phosphates were so high that it was ridiculous. It wouldn't even be on the Hannah checker. It would blink 200. So that means it was just overboard. And so I was wondering why I never could grow coral. They would just die eventually. And I'm like, well, is it my lights? Is it my nutrients? Blah, blah, blah. So what I've done to get low phosphates and continue to beat this is I use GFO. I used a lot of it, and then also I used the phosphate remover because I believe the phosphate, what phosphate is that? It's a little white little pebbles, but the phosphate you use will rapidly take it out, and I think the GFO slowly reduces the phosphates in the water. And so I put both of those in there. I put a Chemi Pure bag. I don't know, it was a Chemi Pure Elite. I just bought it. It was cheap. I put that in there. I'm pretty sure that exhausted quickly because of my phosphates so high. And then so what people would be like, well, that's a lot of media to be putting in a tank at one time to stress the corals. The corals were already pelling out, so I bought some amino acids just in case that if I'm stressing the corals too much, I can dose some amino acids and then it can get its nutrients from that. I do have a media bag filter floss in there just to get the phosphates out. And not only am I doing that, but I'm also using phosphate E every once in a while. So the lanthanum chloride is taking out all the phosphates. The GFO is taking phosphates out. The other phosphate remover is taking it out. And then I did today a water change. I don't really rapidly do a lot of water changes because I read that even though you do like a 40%, 50% water change, it doesn't stop because all that phosphate is bound in your rocks, in your sand. And so right when you change your water, it'll just release it back in the water column, and then everything is just almost the same. Thus you're leaching out, you're taking it out, but it sucks because it's just so much phosphate maybe locked in the rocks, locked in the sand, and plus you're feeding. It sucks. So you'll never beat it. I've been fighting this thing for about 2 months now, and everything's good. The alkalinity's on points like 9.5. Calcium is at 540. My nitrites are going down pretty sure. I've been vodka dosing too at the same time, just a little bit. So I've been doing a lot of dosing, and I haven't killed anything. Nothing's died. The water is clearing up. I used a little bit of sponge power from KZ just to feed some of my stuff because I saw like things are little dying. So I know KZ says the SPS growth, it'll color it up, it gives it some nutrients or something of the sort is what I've read. And so if you're facing a lot of phosphate problems like I am, it's just not like, oh, my phosphates, 10 ppm, let me get it down real quick. No, this stuff is like a killer, and it's a struggle to bring it all the way down when it's so high. You'll spend a lot of money getting it down if you don't maintain your tank. Now also after the tank is I get the suitable ppm of 1 or 3. 3 is the highest, or maybe even 6 I've read. 6 ppm that people let get away due to heavy stock corals, due to other life inside your tank, that it'll kind of deplete. If you're feeding meaty foods, most likely that phosphate's going to rise quickly if you're feeding that every day or a heavy hand. So depending on your stock, of your aquarium, then I will be watching that. But as long as you, after the fact, get your phosphate down, you put the media in there, you should never have a problem again. But I refuse to have this problem again. It will cost you your corals. It's never killed any fish. I guess they got used to being in phosphate land. But I rather have high nitrate than phosphate. High nitrate won't really do much. You can have it at 40 ppm. I have abundance of macroalgae. I have Chaeto that I threw away, guys. A full bucket, like one of those big buckets you fill your water with, a full bucket of Chaeto, and then I left the ball in there, and then I kept my H380 on, like for 2 days now, just to maximize the growth. And the Chaeto ball is already growing like 2-3 times the size, so I know it's a lot of stuff in this tank. It's crazy. So I'm using chemicals, I'm using natural. I have even Calerpa in one side of the tank, and I'm just sucking the crap out this tank right now. And so some people are like, oh my, it's too many changes too fast. I haven't had any ill will. Some corals, when it came in, they already paled out, or some turn white. I don't know, maybe. So I lost 2. Everything else is pretty much trying to recover as I get my phosphates down. And I think it is just because the phosphates are high that they might be pale or brown and whatnot. So I will see the difference once I get that down, and then I can feed again normally and get everything on the up and up. I'm sorry for my rant, but I'm pretty sure some other people eventually will run into these problems of, wow, why are my phosphates so high? What's going on? Why is my stuff dying? Coralline algae still grew inside the tank with high phosphate. Don't know how. I must be doing something right. So coralline algae on the back of the wall, craziness. Can't explain that, because I would think the phosphate would inhibit the growth of anything like that'll grow. I would think a Montipora cap couldn't grow, and how could coralline algae grow if this is so high phosphate? Don't understand it, but it's growing. So thanks guys for watching. Please give me some information of what you've done in your tank. I've read so many articles. I read this reef for that, this reef for that. People argue about this situation: high phosphates, no phosphate, 0 phosphate, 10 phosphate, blah blah blah. But as for my tank, it's not doing any good. So thanks for watching. Subscribe. Let me know how you feel about it. Peace.